Alright, so we've reached the entrance to the first elemental guardian, Djinn. He uses wind and lightning, so we'll prepare accordingly. There are also other mobs on his level that use poison, so we'll also protect against that. Hordes of gremlins like to follow me around. I like to stay away from them. So the save sets I have aliased. Okay, they follow me around. Save sets I have aliased. We'll show save. You can ignore the fire and cold here, but that is what I recommend for Djinn. A little bit of spell helps with the, well, it used to help with the lightning bolt. It's more or less incidental now. The zap save, the breath save, and the poison are all important, as well as the normal. You need to be able to climb to progress any further than this point. Refresh our sight before we go down. Oh, and there's Djinn waiting for us. I also like to haste. Get off as much attacks for his attacks as possible. You probably noticed my attack of choice is Fire Web. It builds up incidental damage, as well as the initial strike. Djinn has a bit of a weakness to it. Bolt of Lightning sucks. There's another one. This is the room where the down exit will be. See if I can find my corpse. Hey, there it is. Not worth saving the corpse since... God. You get rid of all the bolts of lightning. There's, I believe, a max load of 4 on those. I've never seen more than 4 at one time. It'll make sleeping safe marginally, as long as you can stay hidden. Definitely need to regen. One thing to think about, though, is that there is negative regen in this area. It's poison. So slow poison should offset that. Keep in mind, my style of running this area is based on my classes. I'm a thief and a cleric first, even though I act like a mage a lot. It's just the most effective way I have of playing this character. I like to sneak around. I like to be able to heal and protect and buff. And I also have a pretty high damage output. If I could just get some mana. Also notice as I do regen, I move around a lot. I don't stay in the same room much. It's quicker to stealthy into your next room than it is to hide in the one you're in. Less time standing, more time sleeping. Get you more mana faster. Okay, it should do us for now. I'll use a wand to sink. Change back into our save set. Let's see how far Djinn has moved. There he is. Doesn't regen terribly fast. He does do a whole lot of damage. If you came properly prepared with the staffs, there's a staff for each of these guys. You'd be able to kill them a little quicker. So we'll regen. The next level is going to be cold save. Hey. You notice on my map, the exit opened as soon as he died. The series of the Elemental Guardians, these 4 levels, you have to kill the Guardian in order to advance, in order for the door to open. Down here, now we're on the ice level, guarded by Merid. She throws water attack. She also uses Ice Bolt, I believe Cone of Cold, and her physical attack is also cold-based, so keeping your cold save as high as possible is important. There's Ice Golems and Freezing Winds as well, which do ice damage. The Water Weirds do a water attack. And there's Greater Aboleth, which is definitely worth avoiding if you don't need its fame. Does mana damage, it can confuse you, and it will attack you through being hidden. And there's Merid. Consider her. She's immune to cold, obviously. Resistant to fire. I like to use Ball Lightning, obviously. Very slight vulnerability isn't much, but it's not resistant either. And her size is kind of irrelevant, but it will do a decent amount of damage to her. Wish she would go away. So I can spell up. Oh, there she comes. Need to get away. Stone Sanctuary would be the other spell's of choice. These would be the Water Weirds. They have a very low percentage chance of dropping a potion, a reusable potion, the Weeping Stone. Very popular with hitter types for having an unlimited supply of refresh. This looks like a good spot to get into our save here. Again, if you have the relevant staff, it makes it a little easier since you can essentially kill these mobs at 3% health rather than past 0. And hasting always helps as well. And getting the souls is always a nice benefit. Make a beeline straight around. There's the Aboleth. Straight down to Dow's level. Now this is the other area where Solace comes in handy. It seems to work against everything except for Dow himself, which makes regen and spelling up a lot more comfortable. At this point, the only things necessary for saves is normal save. I do have a set up for Dow with dodge to try to avoid his big hits, but I found it's kind of irrelevant since I can do enough damage usually to kill him all at once anyways. So I just stone skin and go to town. Just wait for our mana. Having a set of Aeon stones, nice little bonus as well. Those can be found in West Naginag, which is about as far east from Djinn as possible without going out to sea. Earth Golem, we're not really worried about. Solace works on them. Just go in full mage cast. So just want the normal save. Only way to get that is stone skin and the armored skin skill, which not enough of a warrior to have that, so I just rely on my stone skin. This level's a little different from the previous two and the next one, that it's not a block of rooms so much. It's just more or less linear path from the entrance to the exit. With only 2 rooms that aren't in the path. We're looking for one guy that's bigger than the rest. And there he is, right by the down exit.
Ouch!
Yes, it hurts. Fortunately for us, he doesn't like this. We'll get in our regen, do a little double check on our spells. Protection from evil. Absolutely want to have the ice shield up. There's negative regen down here. Aside from that, we'll just want to be healed. We'll go down. We can regen down here. This might take a little bit. I'm pretty much out of mana. Ifrit, want to have basically just full fire save, more the merrier. His melee attack is a lot of physical damage as well as fire, and he has a special procedure that does a lot of fire damage as well. He moves around a lot like all the others do. He moves pretty fast. He has a ton of hit points, and he's definitely not as easy to kill as the previous 2 were. Maybe not as annoying as Djinn, since Djinn does a variety of damage types, and you have to split your saves up more. Splitting the saves up more tends to take away from your offensive ability. Pretty much follow the logic. The more gear you need to remove for saves, the less gear you get to keep for offense. My fire save equipment's actually pretty much equal to having no saves. Been able to accumulate enough that has the offense ability still with the saves. Unfortunately, with Djinn, there's just so much you need to protect against. Djinn actually occasionally drops a piece of equipment that's perfect to fight him with, breath save and spell resistance. Reduce the power of his ball lightnings and protects against his wind attack. The wind attack by far being the most dangerous. Okay, we have full mana. Strange Red Bird. This is a Pyrolisk. It's definitely something you want to be careful of. If you have fire save, adequate amount, it's not too big a deal. The thing really doesn't have much in the way of hit points. but it does have a special attack that's basically pure fire. And it will quite possibly kill you without too much effort. There's Ifrit. I like to use a vulnerability scroll on them to speed things up a bit, especially when there's a golem in the room with them. Let's just use the opposite element in a lot of cases. An eye on hit points. This is not a point that you want to die and have to start over. Quite a bit of progress here. None of the mobs on this level will unhide you or attack you while hidden, so it's as long as you can hide perfectly while sleeping, you're pretty much safe. Alright, shield fell. I'll do the wand sink again. Conserve mana. Hopefully my sneak's adequate to get me out of this room before it attacks. There we go. See if we can hunt down a Ifrit. There we go. Well, that always sucks. Have them so close to dead and run out of mana. The only thing about my frequent use of haste you might want to consider is how quickly our defensive spells fall. It takes away 2 ticks for every one on the durations. So we'll be respelling more frequently. It should be adequate to go finish the job and head down for a proper regen. And as always, at 3%, the staffs are very effective. I'll head on down to the 8th and final level of the ruins.